So in the blurb at the top, it says, Acha Shabir La'el, Inyan Osius Yud K involved the Eric Anpin, Ubir Od, the Osius Yud K Vov, Elu Mispashta, the Nechlalim Bezer Anpin. Vivur Atach Sheyesh Hebdel, Bain Os Yud, Osius Heh Vav. Now this starts to come back a little bit into memory of what's going on here. Hey Lamala Be'erik Anpen, Vehem Lamada Bezer Anpen. B'dachidach Yivor Lamala Be'erik Anpen. Let's talk about that for first. The Os Yud, the Kruma de Ravira. So let's say, now he said something here. He says that the Yud represents the Kruma de Ravira. So that's the second, let's say, the second Kesser of Erik Anpen. So he says the Yud represents that. The Avira, Ein Lo Shum Pesicho V'Gilui, but it isn't, the Yud itself doesn't have any opening to let any light out. So he said, the Umas Zos, so according to this, Osius Hey involved the Erik Anpen, Yesh Tachem Pesicho V'Gilui. Ki Os Hey, Nifteches, Benikve HaChotim. So there you see that the Hey itself, and we discussed this in some extent, but it's not so easy to really hear how this goes. You're talking about Ak, you're talking about our Erik Anpen, you're talking about his nose and what comes out of his nose. Oh, Niftachas benikve ha'chotem, Oz vav, Niftachas bebispashtusach beguf besod das. All of that. V'achar kach yivor lemad. Bezer Anpen, the Os Yud the Erik Anpen, Ena Mishtatefes, it does not join together with the Os Yud Tachtoina, the Zer Anpen. So there's no kesher between the two, but there is a kesher between the Vav and the Hey. Ela Miskalelas Beremes, Bilvad. The question is, what does he mean by Remes? V'uma Zos Osius Hey involved the Erik Anpen, Nechlalam Mishtatvim, but Osius Heh Vav the Zer Anpen, so they actually join and become partners in it. Let's see that what the people from over here say. He said the Yud Da'atika, the Os Yud Shalatika, Shuhu Sod HaKrum, Shemachasach B'Revisosim as HaMochas Dimor. This is a krum, a cross that covers over the Mochas Dimor. And then he says, Hamisater, and there has been, I think back, there's been some machlokas about this particular word, if it should be misater or or what else it could be. Misater, Baha'aris HaChochma Shebekeser. So he said, once again, he says, Hamochas Dimor, it's crowned by the Ha'aras of the Chochma Shebekeser. So kitur hayotzim and mochas dimah, and that's about the aroma or the vapor or some kind of very thin light that comes out of the mochas dimah. Sosim be'itrui. Now this word itrui has several meanings. It could be the citrui, if you remember back that they have a different way of looking at that word. Atara shemetzater as a kruma. So he says there is a crown or covering over that covers over this Kruma Devira, Shuha Chochma Shebekeser, now which is what? Which one is the Chochma Shebekeser? He says, Atara Shebemech, that the Kruma covers over the Chochma Shebekeser now. Nishar Sosom, Ve'enu Niftak Lihis Pashet Bekrum. It doesn't spread into the Krum. Kihiba Bechinis Chochma, Shene'el Me'eni Kolchai, because this is the Chochma that is not perceivable, hidden from everybody. Now, I don't really know background on that exactly, but that's what he wants to say, that its nature is that it doesn't reveal itself. Only some kind of a shining from it, a glow that comes from it. Involved the Erik Anpen. Yesh lechem pesika v'ketzaz gilui benikve chotem. And also in the Shisha Kitzvos, the goof of Erik Anpen, as we're going to say later on. In Kol Zecha Ba'os Yud Shel Kruma D'Ravira, in any case, the Yud, this Yud represents the Kruma D'Ravira. Now, he says, Ein Lo Shum Gilu Upasicha. There is no way that anything can come out from it, no openings for it. Begin, Shema Lo Shama, I think it's like Shema Lo Ishtakach, Lefisha Osir Shem Chavaya, Einem Nimsa V'Nizgala, is not found, is not revealed, B'Bechinis Chochma, of the aspect of Chochma. Yisach HaKamosh Amar and Eov, he says, V'Chochma Ein Timsa, where can you find it? So this is the concept that this Chochma, which is the letter Yud, which he says refers to the, I guess, either it's covering over the Kruma D'Avira, or it is the Kruma D'Avira. He says, the Chochma me'ein timsa, and it's hidden from the eyes of all. V'amar od, so he says furthermore, Hey, the letter Hey, is patach ba'achra. The os Hey now, shall Eric Anpin, shemis atach be'or ha'yotzim lebina shebekesser. Now let's say this again, it's covered over by the light that comes from Bina, the Bina of Kesser. Now, where is the Bina of Kesser? I think it's in the throat. But he says, a Yotzim Bina Shebekesser Canal, Afshuhu Salsum Lamalach B'Shorsho, even though where it first would appear is closed. Hu Niftach V'Nizgalach Oro B'Makom Acher Lamata, but the light transfers itself down into the lower worlds. So now we explain how it is that it's revealed. So what is this phrase, this other place, in which it's going to be revealed? So he says like this, and I think we had this idea maybe before, Inkiv means that, I think it makes an opening in the nostrils. Because there's a ruach that comes out of it, over bechotim, it passes over through the nose. And it makes openings in the two nostrils. So then what happens is, as it goes through, makes these openings, he says, and it becomes more revealed. So he says, this is the nostril. He says this is the seventh tikkun of the Gulgalta. I'm still very vague about what the seven tikkunim are, exactly where they're located, but here's one. That the letter Vav is Patak Ba'achra. It also opens up another place. Oz Vav shall Eric Anpen. Shemis Ater Ba'oz Ba'or Ayotzecha Bedasha Bekesra now. Niftach V'nizgala Ora B'makam Acher. So it opens up, reveals its light in another place. Kolomer the Sha'af Afshu Sasum B'Sharsh Olamala B'makom Hadas. Even though up above, in the place of Das, it's closed up. Who niftach v'nizgala b'his pashtus of the mouth, but as it goes downward, it opens up, and it spreads down. B'shesha kitzvos the goof erikanpim. So that's the letter Vav. So he says, cholik the dodi the mesharim. What does that mean? Kamosha Kosav, he said, b'pasuk b'so the Das, and we're talking about Das now. What do we know about Das? So he says, that it travels from the place of his root, up above, El Malchut Teferes, the Erikanpin, which is the Gufa de Erikanpin, on Nikla, is called by the name Dodi. So this phrase where it says, Holech Dodi the Misharim, it goes straight down that middle line. Mispashted because Shisha Kitzvos, Guf, Derek Chut, Shidra, Shecholek Be'emsech B'mishor, so he says, now he said, Babutzin de Cardanusa. Now, how we get into the Butzin de Cardanusa? He says, Vihine, his pashta sadas, because spirits are goof. Let me get this up here 1 second. So he says, V'hine's pashtas adas b'kol svirus haguf shamarnu hu b'sod kav amida. This we said before. Hanikra hubutzin de kardanusa. It is that gevura which is the measurer. For Amar od alamachasich pepischa, and it says furthermore to cover over that opening. Ki hagevuras das mispashtim b'makom peh. They spread out from the place of the mouth, the erikanpin. The sod hevel the yotzechem in the peh, which is the secret of this hevel that comes out of the mouth. Mechasim, and what happens is mechasim as a pesach a peh, and it covers over the opening of the mouth. V'ancha shabir shebesichas agilui osius yud Heh Vav the Erik Anpin yesh hebdel bein os yud the Erik Anpin she'ena niftach legalus oro. It doesn't open up so you could see its light. Vein osius Heh and Vav the Erik Anpin sheniftachim the galus orum so yivor ata. Ki kach gam beis chalus oros osius of yud Heh Vav the Erik Anpin ba'osius yud Heh Vav the Zer Anpin, and this the el. He says yesh hevdel bein his chalus os yud the Erik Anpin ba'os yud the Zer Anpin. There's a difference between them. He says lebein his chalus osius Heh Vav the Erik Anpin ba'osius Heh Vav the Zer Anpin. Behind the vav the elu vav the tato. Ki os vav el yona shel das mispashet b'shisha kitzvos the Erik Anpin. The chlalos from the shtatefes ba'os vav hatachtona the Erik Anpin. And he says, hey law, hey tata. Gamo okay, the same thing is about the letter hey. El yona shebenik v'rahotem the Erik Anpin. It winds up being manifest in Zer Anpin. The chlalos mishtatefes ba'os hey tachtona the Zer Anpin. Yud le'ela v'bo lo ishtate v'achra, but that yud, it remains hidden. It remains hidden. Avar of os yud el yona the kumba the revira, en mishtatefes im os yud tachtona the Zer Anpin. So he seems to think that this yud is the kumba the vira, and it's covering over the mochas dimah in different places. V'lo salik b'chador kamokein. Os yud tachtona the Zer Anpin ena oila his kalo ba'os yud el yona the Erik Anpin. So he says the yud that is manifest, somehow there is a yud in Zer Anpin, but it doesn't come from that yud that we were talking about before. V'yinyan huki os yud el yona ena neftechas the galus orokanal by remiza the ramiz, only because there's some remiz here. V'chein his kalos os yud el yona the Erik Anpin ba'os yud tachton the Zer Anpin. The Zer Anpin they're mezes b'derek remez bilvad. Now we don't have what the remez is. We got to finish up now. U'b'zecha b'yesh kiyam os yud tachton the Zer Anpin ki below yud el yona the Erik Anpin. Ein kiyum the yud tachtona the Zer Anpin. Now there's a little bit question about that. If you say that in one hand it doesn't reveal, but on the other hand, if you don't have it, there's nothing in Zer Anpin. So that leaves that up in the air, and so we'll see it some more later. Meanwhile, I'll try to work on the Sifra.
Yeah.
Call to it.
Call to it.